1991. So if you need a good lasting shirt, I guess Land's End might be a good place to go.
That's a good name.
Well, one of these crews, we're getting ready to get on the pointy thing Discovery. So we're going to leave this area for safety and begin a walk to the orbiter. So we're going to enter this bridge right here. Cross that bridge, enter that white box, as it's called the White Room. And inside the White Room, we meet some folks who've been out there for a long time, our suit technicians. They've been inside the orbiter for hours before we got there, to make certain that the orbiter was ready for the astronauts to get in. When they are satisfied, they actually come out into the White Room and greet us, the astronauts, to make certain that we are ready to go into the orbiter. So they'll check this suit, these suits, these launch and entry suits that we're wearing. They'll adjust them. They'll give us additional equipment like the communications cap that Leland has on there. When they're satisfied, they may stick a ham and cheese sandwich in one of our pockets. And we'll get on our hands and knees and crawl through that round hole. That's the hatch. That's the orbiter right there. When we get inside, we're going to be a little surprised. Even though we have practiced many times. Take this room and rotate it up like this. And all of your seats are on the wall. That's the way it looks when we get inside. So when I get on my hands and knees, crawl in, I have to find my seat. There's the bottom of it, there's the back of it. Next to it is a chinny bar. I reach up, grab the chinny bar, pull myself up, scrunch my butt on the back of the seat, slide down as far as I can. And the suit tech will come in and she will physically push me further down into the seat and then begins to put straps on me, about 1,000 of them. She said it's for my safety. I know it is so I cannot escape. Once all the crew is in, the suit techs gather all of their equipment, they come back through that hatch, they close the hatch, they latch the hatch, they put tile on the hatch, they put super glue on the hatch, they put duct tape on the hatch for our safety. They then depart the White Room, cross the bridge, get on the elevator, go to the ground floor, get their vehicle, and depart at the speed of light. And we're up there looking at them, wondering, where the heck are they going? Till we realize what we are sitting on. Here's Shep, helmet on, gloves on, reclining in his seat. His legs are pointed north. We're going to launch that way. Right shoulder is the Atlantic Ocean. That's you all out there. There are 2 floors in the front of the orbiter, called decks. Flight deck and mid deck. Next one shows the flight deck. Occupied like this for ascent and for landing. Commander sits in that 4th seat. Pilot sits here. We are the stupid ones on board. The mission specialist, number 1, number 2, number 3. These are the smart people on board. By the way, this is KT, Dr. Catherine Thornton, nuclear engineer, professor of engineering at the University of Virginia. If you ever get up that way, stop by. You will not regret meeting and talking to this fine doctor. Fortunately, unfortunately, on the flight deck there are only 4 seats. 1, 2, 3, 4. KT, on this particular phase of this flight, her seat was on the mid-deck. Down there was 1 seat, no windows. So I would recommend that when you go fly in space, get yourself a business or first-class ticket so that you can be up on the flight deck, have people to talk to, and windows to look out. Notice all the switches, circuit breakers, gauges, more than 2,000 of them within easy reach. Each one was responsible for the success and safety of a mission. In our training, we knew what each one of them did. And we trained the correct problems inserted by our simulation supervisor. And by the time we launched, we could solve most problems blindfolded, just by feeling. So, let me tell you a little about the orbiter, next one. I'll just refer to the orbiter, the thing with the wings on it. Orbiter. On the back of the orbiter were 3 rocket engines, called the Space Shuttle Main Engines, SSMEs. is attached to a big brown tank. And inside that tank are two smaller tanks. One has the fuel, the other has the oxidizer for the three engines on the back of the orbiter. Fuel, liquid hydrogen. Oxidizer, liquid oxygen. Nothing exotic at all. On either side of the tank are these massive rockets, solid rocket boosters, SRBs. As we count down, next one, at 6 seconds before ignition, before liftoff, these three main engines ignite. They're so small that we up there barely know they have ignited. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, at 0, these guys ignite, and there is no doubt you were going someplace really fast. Like an old wooden roller coaster, straight up for 10 seconds, and then it rolls over and flies over you, the Atlantic Ocean. 18 minutes after we take off from Florida, we cross the west coast of Africa. 18 minutes. 2 minutes after we take off, all of the fuel in these solid rocket boosters has been burnt. And so we don't want to carry those orbit with us, so we blow them away from the tank. And we'll see that from the windows. They drift back down in the ocean. NASA fetched them to send them back to their manufacturer where they were cleaned, refurbished, refilled, and sent back to the Kennedy Space Center for reuse. The main engines, these three, continue to accelerate the orbiter to something we call orbital velocity. That's the speed this has to achieve in order to enter and remain in a circular orbit around the Earth. Orbital velocity is 17,500 miles an hour. 17,500 miles an hour. You can tell folks who have been to space and achieved those speeds by the amount of hair they have. Those lacking hair have been to space. Those who are lacking a lot of hair have been to space multiple times. And I do see some very experienced space flyers in the audience. Even with a cap on, we know who you are. That's your next door neighbor. So the rest of you have questions while I'm talking, ask one of these experienced space flyers. 17,500 miles an hour. From liftoff until that speed is only 8.5 minutes. So that's the time that it takes from liftoff till we get to space. We are experiencing, just before the engine shut down, 3 Gs on our chest, which means 3 people your size are sitting on your chest until we hit that speed and the main engines shut off, called MECO, main engine down. We go from 3 Gs to 0 Gs instantaneously. And what happens? We go, arms float, books float, debris floats, and every astronaut goes like that. Must be a medical reason. I don't know what it is. We don't need that tank anymore. So it is actually blown away from the orbiter. It re-enters the atmosphere, burns up. We never see the tank again. So that's the only component that's not recycled. So now we are in an orbit circling the Earth every hour and a half, completely around the Earth. And that 90 minutes, 45 minutes is bright sunlight like we have outside right now. And then the sun is gone. Pitch black, 45 minutes. And then the sun is back up again. And so if you are into long romantic evenings on the beach, this is not the place for you to be. As you circle the Earth continues to rotate to the east under you. So each time you come around, you'll see something further to the west. So even on very short missions, you'll see most of this beautiful world beneath you, and it will take your breath away. In fact, this is kind of the way it looks right here. So this is your first test. Hope you've been taking notes. This is space. This is Earth. This is space. This is
Earth.
Working. Good. This is the orbiter right here. Think of the orbiter as an 18-wheeler, tractor trailer. In the front is a cab where the driver is. In front of the orbiter is the crew module. That's where the crew is. Behind the cab is a trailer. So they carry stuff from there to there to there to there. Behind the payload, behind the crew module, it's the payload bay. That's where we carry stuff from here to there, from there. The transportation system only. And you can put multiple things in there. You can put large satellites. This one's a little over 45 feet long, 15 feet in diameter, to take the orbit to launch to higher orbits. We can carry laboratories with us, within which we do experiments to discover the difference between the experiment's result in gravity versus no gravity. And it is significant. We carried most of the components to build the International Space Station in the payload bay. We've been on orbit now for 2 decades. Normally 6 people on board. There's always an American, there's always a Russian, and all the rest of the crew can come from any place in the world. They normally stay 6 months on orbit. It's a fascinating experience. Now remember I said this is kind of the way it looks, but when you take a picture of something that's very bright, like the Earth, and you have things that are dim next to it, generally you won't see the dim stuff. Space is not black like this. I'll show you what it looks like in just a minute. We have some perfect windows on board, next one. And we spend a lot of time looking through those windows and looking out at things. We had crews, we had members of crews, and their only interest looking out was to look into the heavens, next one. And so this is what it looks like when you don't have a pesky Earth sitting in the middle. And it's beautiful, it looks two-dimensional, until you realize that if these were strobes instead of starlit lights, and if it's strobe, even at the speed of light, the light would take 10 million years to cover that distance to get to your eye. 12 million years to light from that to get to your eye. 8 million years to light from that to get to your eye. So you're not looking at something flat. You're looking at something that has infinite depth. And even as we sit here, our universe is expanding. We don't know why. We've discovered some things like suns that have planets circling them, just like in our solar system. And we've discovered some planets, multiple planets, that are very similar to Earth. So I would expect one day, one of these youngsters is going to meet a friend from out here. Not an enemy, not an alien, but a friend. And I hope that's not that long from now. But look at this, how peaceful it is, how quiet and harmony. There's no chaos. I know God put that there just to entice me to take my next vacation out there someplace. Fascinating. Now the other half of the crew, not interested in the heavens, they look down at Earth. I call those people dirt people. We're only about 300 miles above the surface of the Earth. And so if there were a storm moving across this dirt, you would actually see it moving. You would see the lightning flashes inside. But from above, as you look down, I can tell you immediately where the predominant wind comes from. I can tell you where the mountains are. I can tell you where the best place to go fishing is. Dominant wind comes from this direction. Picks up moisture from the ocean. When it rises over the dirt, it rains until it gets to the mountains. And on the windward side, green and lush. On the leeward side of the mountains, extremely arid and dry. Notice a little white, puffy sea breeze clouds, but note the difference in color between this water and this water. The lighter water generally indicates colder water, water that is upwelled from the bottom of the sea. And when it rises, it brings nutrients, plankton. Fish love it. So if you're going to go fishing, this is the place to go. Well-known weather systems, cold fronts, cold air moving this way, colliding with warm air. Warm air rises, clouds, rain, thunderstorms. you transited that, it would be extremely turbulent. And then you realize that water and air are both fluids. They both have the same characteristics. One's denser than the other. But from above, you can see this interplay, this playing of the atmosphere and the water, and how it reacts with this dirt down here. And I just wish in the 4th grade I had been able to go to space and see this, because it all makes sense when you see it. I may have been more successful in college a little later if I had been able to see this. We had a guy on board who was a world's expert in the aurora. If you don't believe me, ask him. Who's the world's expert? I am. You run into people like this, I'm sure. Aurora, particles in deep space attracted to a magnet, Earth. When those particles react with our atmosphere, this is what you get right here. In the north, we call it the borealis, or the northern lights. It's almost a mirror image of it on the southern end of the world, called the Australis, or the southern lights. And he's at the window one evening, remember, 45 minutes. And I float up the dumb pilot, and I asked him, tell me something about this aurora. And without any hesitation, he said, it's pink. No, it's purple, purple. I said, yeah, it's purple, but it's also pink and cream and green. He says, you know, it's not supposed to be purple. I said, why? He said, I said so. Then he said, you know, I'm going to have to rewrite some chapters in my books. Change some of my lecture notes. I always did that too. And then he said, I'm going to have to apologize to my students. I said, why? He said, because when I left Earth, I told my students exactly what I was going to see when I got on vacation up here. Since I never realized that there was a reaction that yielded a purple color. So what I saw was a very arrogant scientist become a very humble student just in front of my eyes. And what we learned up there has come, we have brought back, and now it's included in the books that the 3rd graders read. And so they are so much smarter than we were at that age. Now my daddy always said you got to give the next generation more than what you were able to give, what I was able to give you. Now it's incumbent on these kids to do these scary and risky things and learn something new to pass on to the next generation. It's fun if it's an adventure and a vacation. We had a guy, what is up and down in space? Well, there is no up and down in space. When you came in, I mean, that's a gravity thing. When you came in, you knew if you looked down, you'd see the floor. If you looked up, you'd see the ceiling. If you looked to the sides, you'd see the walls. I will bet you when you go to space for the first time, and you're moving from one place to another, you'll keep your head aligned to what you remember was the ceiling, your feet aligned to what you remember was the floor, and you will move from wall to wall. I'll bet you. But after a couple of hours, you'll have an epiphany. You realize your head is up, your feet are down, everything else is altered. So you can get into any attitude you want and be perfectly comfortable there, which makes it fantastic for eating. Fried chicken, greens, rice. We have no tables, we have no chairs. We go fetch it. Take it to wherever it is we're working or hanging out. And just let the fried chicken, greens, rice, float right in front of it. Just grab it. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Okay, how about something to drink? Maybe a Coca-Cola, perhaps. NASA will not allow us to carry Coke to space. Well, this is what I would recommend. As you are stylishly dressed in that orange suit, in your limo, en route to the launch pad, with your business or first class tickets, stop at McDonald's. Get a Coke to go. Hide it in your pocket. Sneak it on board. So that when you get on orbit, you get your chicken, your greens, your rice, your Coca-Cola. Take the top off the Coke. Turn the Coke upside down. What happens? Nothing, you're right. There's no gravity. But you can take the cup and pull it away from the Coke. Now you have a glob of Coca-Cola floating in front of you like this. The only force on it now is surface tension. That's what holds it together. There's no splash. You can do things with this. You can play with it if you want. And I am right now. I just sent the Coca-Cola to you. No, you, not her, you. What are you going to do? Do something. I'm going to fall off the stage if you don't. Please. You did. Do it again. Damn. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. How did I send it to you? You weren't paying attention. I did this. Moved away. So when it gets to you, that's right, you're going to do this. And it will stop right here in front of you. Then you can pull your handy-dandy straw out, stick it in the Coca-Cola, and drink it. And as you drink it, it gets smaller and smaller. But for some reason, it has a tendency to move up the straw toward your nose. I don't know why. This guy right here one day is going to tell me why. But when it gets about this far from your nose, it will actually leap on you. And so one of the most important pieces of equipment you should always have is a washcloth, so that you can catch all of these errant drops of liquid. We have no free-floating liquids in the crew module. What happens if we get water in our computer or our electrical system? I'll tell you what happens. It goes. We have no bath. We have no shower. We use baby washes or a wet washcloth with liquid soap. But my daddy always said, if everybody smells the same, nobody stinks. Fascinating experience. But you know, in the middle 80s, we actually carried Coca-Cola and Pepsi to space. Here's a Pepsi drop right here. In the 80s, Pepsi and Coke were probably the most well-known brands in the world. Wouldn't matter where you went, when you said, I want a Coke, put your hand up, somebody would put a Coca-Cola in there. And so the leadership of these companies decided, why limit our product to just you common people on Earth? Let's send it to space so that the heroes, the astronauts, could also have it. So they hired, oh my goodness, multiple people, spent millions of dollars to send their products to space. Well, Coke and Pepsi both arrived, and when the astronauts attempted to mix the carbonated water with the syrup, this is what they got. Here's the syrup, and here's the carbonated water in the middle. You ever seen a Coca-Cola that looked like that? Where are those little effervescent bubbles that tickle your nose when you drink? Millions of dollars. What they didn't realize was that on orbit you could not mix and create that solution of carbonated beverage, or carbonated water, and the syrup. That's why we do not have carbonated beverages in space, because we can neither maintain them nor can we make them. Carl Hanna is over there is about ready to suck that last one in. So after we have learned and experienced and just been overwhelmed by the many things that we've seen that surprise us, it's time to come home. Next one. And so we've got to get out of this circular orbit and get back into an orbit close to Earth. And so we do that by slowing the vehicle up just a little bit, just maybe 200 miles an hour. So we turn the vehicle around so the rocket engines are pointed in the direction we're going. And we fire two smaller engines. We call it a burn. We fire them for about 2 minutes or so. Slows us a couple hundred miles an hour. Then we turn the vehicle around again so the pointy end is going in our direction. We've now exited this circle and entered an elliptical orbit like this, with the lowest point of the perigee close to the surface of the Earth. And then we begin our glide back to Earth. When I say glide, we do this burn more than 10,000 miles runway. We do this burn more than an hour before our anticipated landing. And after we do the burn, we have no more propulsion at all. There are no jet engines on this thing. So it is a glide from that point all the way to touchdown. First half hour through deep space. The only thing that occurs is we get closer to the Earth. The second half hour, we enter our atmosphere. That's what we live in. It starts about 400,000 feet up. When we enter it, a couple of things happen. One, astronauts feel gravity for the first time since they went to space. The second thing is the matter and the particles in the atmosphere create drag that begins to slow the vehicle up. 3, that drag creates friction, which raises the temperature on the orbiter bottom to about 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. If it were a night approach, the crew inside looking through the windows will see that glow of hot gas and plasma. If it were a daylight approach, the sun is so much brighter, you'd never see that glow. But we have a thermal protection system on there that allows us to re-enter and handle those high temperatures. So we use the drag and we use these big S-turns like this to work out the energy range so that we end up over the runway here at the Kennedy Space Center. We're looking up, it's about 80,000, 85,000 feet up. You see the bottom of the orbiter. A lot of people think it's just painted, but if you've been to Atlantis and looked at the bottom, you saw that there were individual silica tile. And that silica tile has the ability to absorb heat, but not transfer it to the aluminum skin the tile is glued to. More than 22,000 of them, by the way. We are now in a turn. We're going to see it through the commander's window. You'll see the green stuff as part of our heads-up display. The runway is coming in sight under that cloud. We will be aiming at a point about a mile short of the runway, coming out of the sky like a total bat out of hell, trust me, until we get to about 2,000 feet above the surface of the Earth, 24, 22, 2,000, at which point we now begin to pull the nose up like this and glide in for a touchdown on the runway. We'll see more and more of the horizon as the nose comes in. And we touch down. Kennedy Space Center runway, 15,000 feet long, 3 miles long. And let me tell you, there are truly 2 kinds of pilots. First kind of pilot is a person trained by the Air Force. The touchdown will be so gentle that the pilot will have to say to the crew, we're on the ground now. A Navy pilot, on the other hand, used to carrier landings. The landing is so horrific, chaotic, it will scare you to death. You will forget all of the things that you had done before. So I would recommend that when you get your tickets to go to space, I would demand an Air Force pilot. You will remember the whole thing as a perfect example and experience. When we roll out on the runway, we're greeted by a lot of vehicles. Each vehicle has a specific role. Some provide hydraulic power, others provide cooling, others provide just air. But the most important one from us, from our point of view, is this one, right here. That one has our flight surgeons, our doctors in it. When the human goes to space, the human immediately begins to transition and become that spaceling. When we get there, our muscles begin to atrophy because we don't need them. Our bones begin to de-densify because we don't need the skeleton inside. The heart doesn't have to work against gravity. I have no compression, so I'm 2 inches taller. In space, on Earth, we have about a gallon of liquid that pools in our lower extremities. In space, not needed. We lose it by sweat or urine. When we come home, we have got to become Earthlings again. So our muscles begin to retone automatically. Our bones begin to redensify automatically. Our heart now knows it has to work against gravity automatically. I shrink 2 inches instantaneously, but I am short of liquid. So I come home severely dehydrated. So the doctors bring water in so that we can fluid load and get safely out of our seats and wander around. You know, initially doctors didn't think that humans could go to space and return and survive. And so Americans used chimpanzees. Russians used dogs. And when they came back and survived, they said, well, let's send humans. And the first they suggested were prisoners.
Yeah.
There was another group that said, no, that would be cruel and unusual punishment. Let's send military test pilots. And so that's why we do this flying instead of the rightful prisoners who ought to be doing it. It's a fascinating experience to go. You learn so much, you come back and you talk about it, it's in the books, and it is the most enjoyable vacation you will ever take. So I'm going to end there. I'm going to allow you all to take time and think about any questions. There's one question that's always asked, and why don't you pop it up real quick and then take it off. If you have a question about that, I am willing to answer it, but be prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
I want to thank Astronaut Fred Gregory for being here today with us. If any of you do have questions, raise your hand up high. Come over and I'll have you ask it. Any questions we have right here in the front?
How heavy is the International Space Station?
How heavy is it?
How high?
How high it is?
Oh, heavy.
Yeah, I don't have no idea.
About 1
Up there
million
it
pounds.
weighs. Up there it weighs nothing.
It's about 1 million pounds. Okay.
Well, that's in mass.
In mass,
weight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much different is it to Earth?
How much different is space to Earth? Okay, how much different is space to Earth?
Well, it's not tough. How do you respond to gravity versus no gravity? It is, no, not you. You've already asked. No. This is my problem. I've got to answer this question. When you go into space, you are not dependent at all on anything that you remember on Earth. For example, in space, you don't need feet. In space, you don't need a bed. In space, you can eat, and everything works right. And all of the body functions work properly. So I would guess that it would be similar to if you were walking along the side of a pool and you saw an air mattress floater in the pool and you jumped on the floater. That would be as close as I could get to the difference between gravity and no gravity. Especially if you've got your eyes closed and there's a breeze. Because when you open your eyes, you're going to be someplace entirely different. And that's the way it is in space. But you ought to go up there and come back and tell me. You going to do that? All right.
What's your most significant mission?
What was that? My most?
Significant mission.
All of them. I can't be, everyone was so uniquely different. Each had very specific requirements. And so with the completion of them, I guess they are all about the same.
So your first moments of feeling the microgravity, what was it like?
To be
Your first moments in microgravity, what was that like?
the first moment. I think it was at first a big surprise because people had talked about what it would be like, but we had never experienced our arms just floating up in front of us. So I think most of it was just the surprise of being in a microgravity environment.
You mentioned things that surprised you. I
I was sort of curious, what would you say was your greatest memory or moment or experience that you had when you were in space?
You know, I could be kind of short and say a successful landing would have been, but I think, and I kind of inferred that during the talk, when you went there, I think but we carried a lot of very smart scientists and engineers, all who went there with preconceived ideas about what they were going to see, sometimes believing that they had anticipated what they were going to see. And I was, as a pilot or as a commander, I was not responsible for conducting any experiments, but I could watch the reaction of these engineers and scientists. The biggest thrill I got was watching them as they saw something they had never anticipated, push back and go, wow, I didn't know that. And so I saw that so many times, and I think that was probably the most exciting part of the mission, that this was not just a boondoggle. This was it had significant value, and that in the long run, it had great payback.
And our last question from the front.
You talked about how the doctors came out to you and got you rehydrated, but how long did it take you to feel back to normal? And did you have any lasting, or do astronauts have any lasting long-term health effects from being in microgravity?
Long-term versus short-term. I was short-term. When I came back, the dehydration was not an issue because they rehydrated us. When you go to, when we're on Earth, we depend on a lot of things to give us a sense of what's up and down, right, wrong. We have receptors in the body that tell you you're leaving. You've got an inner ear to give rates and things of that nature. Neither of those function on orbit. So the only thing you have are your eyes. When you come home, these are still not working yet. All you have are your eyes. And so you were very unstable, very unsteady. You have to keep your eyes open. If you close your eyes, you'll stagger and fall. Now, I told you that the retoning was automatic. The redensification was automatic. It's not instantaneous. I would say, however, that after going through the medical procedures after landing, which took maybe 2.5 to 3 hours, at 5 hours I felt comfortable enough to go out and jog. So I would say in less than 6 hours, you were able to function and not look stupid. But when I got in bed the first night, I felt like I was tumbling like that. And so I would guess maybe in 24 hours, on short term, you are pretty much back to normal again.
I want to thank Astronaut Fred Gregory for being here today with us.